I haven't given myself time to recover or time to heal.
I did also scream when I heard Cherry by Lana Del Rey.
Right?
Yeah.
They begged me to take that song out of the movie.
Blake Lively is not okay, not behind the scenes, not in meetings, and not when her name comes up in legal memos, because Justin Baldoni, the man she tried to take down, just dropped more evidence. And word is, he's still holding the biggest receipts for court. And now, with the case unraveling in real time, Blake Lively is completely losing it. The lawsuit she thought would silence Justin Baldoni has turned into the PR disaster of the year. According to sources close to the case, Justin's team has been strategically dripping evidence. Screenshots, emails, text threads, witness statements. And every time something new drops, the timeline in Blake's story starts to crack. But here's what has Blake on edge. This isn't the final wave. Not even close. Insiders say there are documents Baldoni's team is intentionally holding back. Sealed evidence, video clips, signed statements that they're waiting to unload once the trial begins. And Blake, she knows what they're sitting on. In legal filings, her team has already attempted to suppress certain exhibits, requesting that some evidence be excluded from public record. That only added fuel to the fire, because if the evidence was truly irrelevant or harmless, why fight so hard to keep it sealed? Some reports suggest that what's coming next includes a full timeline breakdown, internal messages between team members, and possibly a recorded phone call that directly contradicts Blake's original narrative. It's not just a PR risk, it's a credibility collapse waiting to happen, and that's why Blake's reaction behind the scenes has reportedly shifted from confidence to chaos. Staff turnovers, brand pullbacks, and emergency legal strategy meetings, all because she's bracing for what happens next. Because when the full truth drops in court, it won't be a headline, it'll be a reckoning. Let's talk about what's already in the open, and it's bad. Emails contradicting Blake's initial claims, texts showing cordial, friendly exchanges right after alleged incidents, behind-the-scenes footage showing Blake giving creative input and on-set approval. In one leaked clip, she's heard laughing on set minutes after one of the supposed triggering events. And in a document filed last week, Justin's team included an HR memo that shows no complaint was filed until months after filming ended. Right after contract negotiations fell through. These aren't just he said, she said moments. This is hard proof. Proof that the narrative being pushed to the public may not be the full story. Proof that timelines don't match. Proof that context was manipulated to create a headline, and that those headlines helped shape a lawsuit now beginning to fall apart in real time. Some of the texts show Blake thanking Justin for his vision and patience. Others reveal her offering ideas for scenes she would later claim made her uncomfortable. One of them even includes a message where she says, "This could really elevate the project if we play it right." And the footage? One frame shows Blake behind the monitor, nodding along as a scene plays back. The very same one she later claimed made her feel disrespected. The more the public sees, the harder it becomes to defend the initial claims without addressing the evidence head on. But if that's what's already in the open, then the next question is obvious. What's still being held back? And why is Blake's team doing everything they can to keep it sealed? But here's where things go from bad to brutal. Multiple legal insiders say Justin's team has one final document that hasn't been made public, and that Blake's legal team has already tried to block it from being entered into court. Speculation? It's a recorded phone call, possibly a conversation between Blake and her former PR agent, and allegedly, it blows the lid off everything. Her legal team is fighting tooth and nail to keep it buried, which only makes fans ask one thing: what's on it? Now, here's why this one document has the entire case on edge. According to court reporters following the case closely, this alleged recording could contain Blake admitting that elements of her public story were exaggerated for optics, or worse, that the timing of her complaint was strategically chosen to coincide with studio contract negotiations. If even a fraction of that is true, it could destroy the foundation of her case. The fact that her team is trying so hard to keep it out of open court only makes it more suspicious. Legal analysts say it's rare for defense attorneys to push this hard for suppression unless what's inside that file is devastating. One source claimed Baldoni's team only found out about the recording after a third-party witness came forward. Someone who allegedly heard it firsthand and confirmed its contents matched a timeline already established by other pieces of evidence. If that's true, it wouldn't just be powerful, it would be irrefutable. It's the kind of evidence that can't be twisted or reframed. It either exists or it doesn't, and Blake's team's efforts to keep it sealed may be all the confirmation people need that it's very, very real. For Blake, that means everything she's tried to protect, her brand, her family image, her credibility, is now hanging on whether this one recording ever becomes public. And according to people close to the situation, it might not be the only thing Blake is desperately trying to keep from the courtroom. Behind the scenes, Blake is not keeping it together. A source inside one of her brand partnerships said, quote, "She's trying to act calm in public, but internally, everything is chaos." Blake has allegedly fired 2 team members in the past 3 weeks. Legal teams are working overtime, PR firms are on retainer, and sources close to Disney say her name has become a legal liability in meetings about future deals. We're talking about someone who once carried luxury campaigns, family-forward endorsements, and studio-level trust, suddenly becoming too risky to associate with, not because of a single headline, but because of what's still coming. People close to the situation say Blake's mood has shifted dramatically. She was calm at first, confident, assured that her version of events would hold up. But the more that's been released, the more internal panic has set in. And what's making it worse? The silence coming from her inner circle. Some say she's furious with Ryan, not just for staying quiet, but for continuing Deadpool press as if nothing's happening. He's making jokes, showing up to interviews, keeping the spotlight on the franchise, while Blake is the one getting burned. Insiders claim she expected him to step in, say something, defend her, but the lack of support is only adding to her spiral. One source close to her PR team said it bluntly: she feels like she's being left to take the fall for everything. She's canceled meetings, ghosted media inquiries, and at one point allegedly told her team she was considering going dark completely, pulling out of scheduled public appearances, and cutting comms until after the trial. But it might already be too late for that, because while she tries to hold it together behind closed doors, the cracks are finally showing in public. The press is shifting, the tone is changing, and fans are starting to turn. And now, Blake's once bulletproof image is beginning to collapse right in front of everyone. The public is starting to turn. On social media, fans who once defended her are asking harder questions. Old interviews are being re-examined. Even the media, which once treated Blake like Hollywood royalty, is pulling back. And her mom brand, it's crumbling. Because now the question isn't, is she being targeted? It's, was she manipulating this from the start? Her silence isn't noble, it's strategic, and people are picking up on it. Influencers who once posted about her skincare line have quietly stopped tagging it. Fan accounts are turning off comments. News outlets are shifting their tone, using words like alleged, unconfirmed, and timeline inconsistencies. People are beginning to realize the story they were sold doesn't quite line up. And while Blake plays defense in silence, the person she tried to silence is playing the long game and winning, because Justin Baldoni isn't just responding, he's outmaneuvering her. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is taking the opposite approach. He's not rushing, he's not lashing out, he's letting the facts speak for themselves. Every time Blake's team makes a move, Justin's lawyers come back with receipts, with calm, with composure, and that's why the tide is turning. This isn't just a defense, this is a rebuild, a reclaiming of narrative, and with each drop of evidence, Blake's case looks less like truth and more like spin. From day one, Justin hasn't tried to win the court of public opinion with flashy statements or emotional pleas. He's kept his focus on the process, on the evidence, on accountability. His team has submitted documentation with timestamps, verified sources, and unedited correspondence. The kind of receipts that don't need interpretation because they speak for themselves. And the tone he's striking is working. He's not playing the victim. He's not attacking. He's presenting facts and letting everyone, including the public, the press, and the court, make up their own minds. Even longtime critics are beginning to acknowledge the strategy. Legal analysts have pointed out that the case is no longer about he said, she said. It's about what the evidence confirms and what it contradicts. And that shift in tone has started to spread beyond the courtroom, because while Justin keeps his head down and his legal strategy sharp, the industry around them is beginning to respond in ways Blake never saw coming. It's not just fans noticing. Hollywood insiders are watching. Studios are nervous. At least 2 campaigns Blake was attached to have reportedly paused pending legal updates. Talent agencies are distancing. Former co-stars are going quiet. The red carpet smiles are gone, replaced by behind-the-scenes meetings and late-night phone calls. Producers are asking tougher tougher questions before attaching her to new projects. Some have even pulled her name from casting shortlists altogether, not because of a final verdict, but because of the optics. In an industry built on perception, controversy can cost millions, and no one wants to bet on someone who might become the face of a courtroom disaster. Executives aren't just reviewing footage, they're reviewing contracts, sponsorship clauses, and brand risk assessments. Blake isn't just losing favor, she's losing trust. And if this trial moves forward with what Justin is sitting on, she could lose more than just the case, because there's one thing left that no one has seen, and the rumors around it have Hollywood holding its breath. So here's the question everyone's asking: what is the final piece of evidence? What is Baldoni's team waiting to drop that has Blake's entire legal strategy scrambling? Some say it's audio, others say it's a sworn statement from someone who worked directly with Blake. Some even believe it's a full timeline reconstruction that proves her claims don't line up with reality. Whatever it is, it's sealed, and it's coming. And Blake Lively, she knows exactly what it is. She thought this lawsuit would end Justin's career. Now it's threatening her own, because once that final piece of evidence drops, silence won't save her.